Okay, so you're going to be doing the chapter 10 review. Let's finish that up. If you haven't finished it, that's going to be your assignment for today. Let's go over a couple things. Let's look at number 1. Number 1 is easy enough. 5d minus 2d. These are like terms, right? So you end up with 3d. That's the simplified answer. Number 2, negative 6y minus 8y, right? And because these are both negative numbers, a negative 6 minus an 8, right, minus a positive 8 is going to give you negative 14y. So you just carry over the variable, okay? When there are exponents with these problems, it works a little bit different than when you're doing multiplication. Let's look at a good example. Let's look at number 11. 16x to the second power plus 8x minus 5x plus 3. Right? So the 16, we know that there's no other term in this group here that's anything. There's nothing else that has an exponent of 2. So you can't simplify this anymore. Right? But we do have an 8x minus 5x, right? Which is going to give us, these are like terms, right? Like terms. So 8x minus 5x is going to give us 3x. And then since the 3 has no variable or exponent, it's just going to get brought down. So the answer is 16x to the second power plus 3x plus 3. If you don't understand what just happened, you got to let me know, because once you get it, it's going to be real easy for you. Let's look at 3b, number 12, 3b minus 5k plus 4b minus 1. Now, again, we know that this 1 doesn't have anything. There's no like terms with it, so we know it's just going to be negative 1. Right? The like terms that we do have are 3b and 4b. Because now this doesn't have a sign, but we know it's positive because it's nothing in front of it, so it's positive. A positive 3b plus 4b is going to be 7b. And then you have the negative 5k minus 5k minus 1. Right? So we added the terms with like signs and then continued the flow of the equation. 7b minus 5k minus 1. All right, let's look at one more. Number 15, negative 3p minus 6p to the third power plus 8p minus 2. Okay. So we know that the negative 6p to the third power, there are no like terms with that. So we can just go ahead and rewrite this down here because we know this is going to be standalone, right? Negative 3p and 8p are like terms, right? So if we have negative 3p plus 8p, then we're going to have 5p, a positive 5p. And then the 2, since you don't have any like terms with this, there's no other whole numbers or no other numbers without a variable or an exponent, you're just going to have minus 2. Negative 6p to the third power plus 5p minus 2. Right? If you have any questions about that, then you can let me know. That is adding or subtracting variables with exponents. Now let's look at 10.2. The multiplication is a little bit different. And what I'm going to tell you is c to the fourth power times c to the sixth power. We're actually just going to add these exponents. It's going to be c to the 10th power. Sorry. Right? Something to be careful of. If you have p to the third power and p p to the 7th power. Remember, although this has no exponent, it has an understood exponent of 1. So it's 3 plus 1, 4 plus 7, 11. P to the 11th power. Right? Remember that those ones without exponents do have an understood exponent of 1. Right? When you have something like this, x to the 3rd power times x to the 6th power, y to the 2nd power times x to the 5th power, right? I'm sorry, this is supposed to be y. All right, so what you have here, x to the 3rd power, x to the 5th power, you can rewrite that as x to the 8th power times y to the 2nd power, y to the 6th power, y to the 8th power. All I did was add like terms, x3, x5, y6, y2, and I'm adding these. Right? I'm adding the exponents of the like terms. Hopefully you see that. Okay. The difference down here with the division is you're not going to add the exponents, you're actually going to subtract them. Look at number 28. B to the 7th power over B to the 5th power. And your answer is going to be B to the 2nd power. All right. If it's a negative number, or if the bottom number is bigger than the top number, so let's say you have a over a to the 4th power. Okay, what you're going to have is a to the negative 3. And why is that? Because this has an understood exponent of 1. Remember that. So it's 1 minus 4, negative 3. So when you're working with these problems, if you're adding or subtracting, the exponents carry over, right? You don't add them. They just carry over. So for example, when you look at number 6, 15W2 plus 8W2, the answer is 23W2. You didn't add these. You just, if they're like terms, then you carry it over. If it's not, then you don't. If they're different exponents, then you don't do it. All right. So do the chapter 10 review. Get that done as much as you can. It's up to, it's on, there's 61 questions. It goes from page 414 to 415. So get that done and submit it. That's your math lesson for today.